All right.
Good afternoon. The manager and Luke Shaw are here to take your questions on the game. We will conduct the whole press conference in English. If you'd like to put your hand up.
Ollie, it looked like you had pretty much a fully fit squad. Is there anyone out there today that won't be available tomorrow?
We had a couple of knocks in training, but hopefully they'll be okay. But strong fit, 25-man outfield squad, so that was a good session as well. So now we're looking stronger.
How's Tim and Axel doing recovering?
They are getting close to either a reserve match or a behind closed doors match. We need them obviously to play in that kind of game before we use them in a first team appearance. Yeah.
You've got lots of routes, or two routes, to get into the Champions League next season in terms of the Europa League and the Premier League. I know you've been asked about it, but the way that your team kind of is set up over perhaps two-legged games, is this the best competition or the best route into that?
I think we need to just take one game at a time, first of all. Of course, both are possibles, but in a cup competition, you never know. It might be a bad day, you meet someone, so we just take one game at a time. Hopefully take as many points as we can in the league, but as you say, as I said, in the cup, it's you can't predict. You can't just rely on we'll win this. It's gonna be there are good teams in it. Bruges, we need to get past these, and we're looking forward to the game.
And after the season you've had with injuries, how nice is it to have some flexibility of options, and also how impressive you've been with people like Luke who've had to adapt to new defensive systems that you're trying out?
I think the squad's coped really well with the amount of games. I said it many a time before. The attitude and the character, personality of them is improving, and especially December, January were 2 hard months. Now we're getting some freshness back, and I think we're looking sharper for it. Luke's been out for was it 2 months ish?
Yeah, around that.
Yeah, around that, and he's come too long, and no, he's done really well in a new position, and it's mixing between left back and left centre back is. He runs forward more as a left centre back than as a full back, so I've been very pleased with him there.
Hi Ole.
Hi.
Happy birthday.
Thank you.
How will you celebrate, and what's your dream gift?
It'll be my youngest is training in the academy tonight, so I'll spend a few hours watching him, and some Champions League games tonight probably, and preparing for tomorrow ourselves.
And Luke, you've been working with Ole now for 14 months. Comparing to the previous managers, how is he different, both in the way he deals with you behind closed doors and in the way he speaks about you in front of us?
Yeah, no, obviously I think, especially management wise, he's been unbelievable for not just me, but I think for the whole squad, and he's brought a smile on everyone's faces, and I think you see that every day, and of course you see it with him, but no, of course he's been brilliantly, and the lads are all really enjoying it, and I think even more so now, now we're getting better results, and the team are coming back. We've got a lot of players back. I think we've got an important sort of second half of the season, and like I said, Ollie's been great, and we're all really enjoying working under him, and we need to keep giving him the results.
With Anthony Martial now scoring,
yep.
Scott McTominay's coming back, you've got Bruno playing well immediately. This looks a completely different team to maybe 2 or 3 months ago in terms of how strong it is and how potent it can be.
Well, we feel we've added some X factor and quality with Bruno, definitely. I think Anthony coming back, he was out for a couple of months as well, getting used to number 9 position, getting the demands that means, but also Scotty has developed. I think Nemanja has done fantastic when he's been away, Fred as well, the two of them in midfield. So, but the addition of Bruno gives us that little bit of different flavour. I think he's a player who likes to play penetrative passes, forward passes, likes to take risks, which a Man United player should do. So,
can I just ask you, just with Bruno, that in the past maybe the build-up was slow because
players maybe would get the ball and then decide what to do. He seems to be someone who knows what he's going to do before he gets it. It seems to be quicker going forward.
His imagination or his overview and his picture is a couple of seconds ahead of many players, and that's one of his strengths, knowing what he wants to do next time he gets it, but he's also quick to he can change his mind in a split second. So if that picture doesn't work as he thought, he'll change it, and I think that composure has been important as well for us.
Hi Ole, you just mentioned then about the personality of your players becoming better. What's the ideal personality of your Manchester United team or a good Manchester United team? Is it to play with swagger, a bit of charisma? You know, how would you like to see?
You need many attributes to play the perfect game of football and or be the perfect team. Of course, we want the swagger, we want the confidence, not arrogance, but go onto the pitch believing in yourself. You still want your players to be humble, knowing that you've got to work harder and you've got to earn the right to win the game of football. And I think that was one of the strengths. Say I played with Bex, Giggsy, the graveyard shift down the sides. That was one of the big compliments the gaffer used to get from other managers, that you've got a team full of quality but they work harder than others. And that was one of the first things I probably said when I came here. I want my team to be one of the hardest working teams in the league, because you don't have to that's only attitude, that's just everyone is that's what you're supposed to do.
And is personality something you can bring out of players, develop, do you think?
Well,
your group.
You can blossom more with confidence and speaking to them, managing them, getting them free, because you want to be free. You want to play with courage, bravery. You want to have a bit of fear in you. You want that taste of, well, I don't want to lose this game. There's a bit of that edge, but you still want, okay, no worries, I made a mistake, I'll sort it out. So it's a fine balance. It's so between arrogant, confident, humble. It's all difficult, that is, to say here in 2 minutes. We could have 2-3 hours on that.
Let's do it.
Yeah. Well, I'll put that up on a plate for you there.
I think when you signed Bruno, that you mentioned X Factor.
Yeah.
Is that what we're seeing now, what we saw on Sunday, what we can see from now to the end of the season? What he brings to the team?
I think he'll only improve by coming here to a stronger league, stronger opponents, stronger teammates, getting used to us. But he's got that bit of swagger and quality that we want to develop even more. And well, he's come in and impressed everyone, but we don't want to put any limit on what he can do.
Just on Bruges as well, they're missing 3 key players in Dennis, Balanta and Vormer. Does that change your approach at all, or do you just focus on what you're doing?
Well, of course we need to play against 11 players of Bruges, so it might change with obviously if Vormer's injured and Dennis is injured. That does something to them, similar to well, Vormer didn't play last game, but Dennis did well against us. I know Crepin, Diatta, he's come back in. For me, he's probably the most exciting and best player. I've watched him a few years back in Norway, so he's fit, I understand. And he might be a handful for Luke, you never know.
Hi Ole.
Hi.
Only PSG have more clean sheets than United in the top 5 leagues in Europe. What do you think that comes down to?
Well, it's the work we've been doing on the pitch and the quality of the players we've got, and sometimes a bit of luck, margins. But we have, and what we did in the transfer market, obviously, we did sign Aaron and Harry for the larger or big sums of money, but they're worth it because we wanted a foundation to build from. We're not happy with winning 1-0 games. Obviously, we want to be an exciting attacking team, but we'll get to that. But defensively, the coaching, I have to say, Kieran, Michael, absolutely fantastic. I think everyone knows what they're doing defensively. The detail in what they're doing, absolutely incredible, and the application of the boys and adapting between back four and a back three or five. So there's many factors.
A question for Luke.
It's the work that's been done. Sorry,
I interrupted you. You've obviously had your ups and downs at Manchester United, but you've been around squads that have been successful and won trophies. Unless I'm mistaken, you've not actually played in one of the finals yet. How much of a ambition is it to taste that, to be at that top level? Because I'm guessing that's why you came here in the first place.
Yeah, of course. It's a massive ambition for me. Obviously, I was there for the Europa League final, and obviously I was around it. And you know, the feeling, even though I wasn't on the pitch, the feeling in the dressing room after was, you know, a feeling that I've not felt, and a feeling that I wanted more of. And of course, I weren't involved, and I think that's what's pushing me on even more to, you know, to try and help us to get to this final and, you know, be in finals, because, you know, we're Manchester United. We should be in finals. We should, you know, be in all competitions till the end. So look, we're going to keep fighting. We're very confident at the moment, and you know, very focused on the job we have tomorrow. So you know, we need to go into this game full of confidence that I think the boys are, and you know, we need to get a result. And you know, look, they're a great team, but of course we want to get as far as possible in this competition.
Luke, we all remember what superb start you had to your second season, then you had the awful moment in Eindhoven. You started really well last season, but your form over the last month has got a lot of plaudits. Do you think you're nearing possibly career best form now, given your age, given your development as well at the club?
Yeah, maybe, but I think, you know, like you said, I'm still quite young. I know I've still got a lot to improve on, and you know, I want to improve as a player, and you know, I need to do that day in, day out, and you know, I just need to keep working hard. You know, just ignore what's said in the media. I don't think, you know, I need to pay too much attention into what people are saying now, because you know, it's sometimes good, sometimes bad. It does not matter. You just got to focus on yourself, and you know, listen to the people in and around this training ground, and you know, hear what they got to say, because most importantly, that's all that matters. But now I'm feeling really good, and you know, I'm just looking forward to tomorrow's game, and you know, can't wait to get back out on the pitch.
Do you blank all that out, the criticism you get? Because you get a fair amount of stick, but it seems to you just brush it off most of the time.
Yeah, no, of course. Yeah, I've had a lot. So, and to be fair, if you're coming to Manchester United, you need to be able to take that, because look, we're at the biggest club in the world, and you know, people are always going to look to criticise you, and you know, rightly so, because you know how big this club is, and you know what they've sort of seen in the past. You know, there's only high sort of standards here, and you know, look, we're footballers, we need to be able to take it, we need to be strong, but you know, most important thing is we need to be on that pitch when it matters, and you know, give everything we've got.
Luke, does it take a long time to get used to the level of exposure you have when you're at Manchester United? I mean, obviously you've grown up here basically, but you've experienced life at another club before. Mm-hmm. And how different is it? How hard is it adapting?
Yeah, of course it is completely different to other clubs. You know, everyone, you know, when you sign that piece of paper, you know how much, you know, sort of how different it's going to be, and you know what the expectations are, and how high they are, and you have to be able to deal with it. And you know, I think if you're not strong mentally and sort of focused and confident in your own self, I think you'll struggle to, you know, to be able to deal with it. But look, you know, we've just got to focus on tomorrow right now, and you know, we'll do our best.
Just one on Luke again. I saw you nodding along when Ole was talking about the defensive work that you do in the training ground. Without giving away any trade secrets, could you just give us a flavour to how you've been able to adapt into the new position that you've got?
To be fair, I played it a couple times last season, and I enjoyed it. It's, you know, a role that I have been enjoying, and you know, it's, don't get me wrong, it's not too much different to sort of left back. I'm still kind of, you know, in my position kind of, but no, I'm enjoying it, and you know, I've said before, wherever the manager wants me to play, I'm happy to play and happy to be on the pitch to, you know, to give my all for the team.
Just one final one. Obviously, last time the club won this competition, the league had to be sacrificed so that they could go through with it. I just wondered what you think about the balance between the two, given clearly you've got ambitions in both.
Yeah, no. Look, we're still in two cup competitions, and of course the league is still a very high priority. And I think we've got to sort of prioritise all of them. We've got a good chance to get in the top four. We're closing the gap, but also, like I said, we've got a very good chance in both cup competitions. And whatever we've got left, we wanna win all of them.
Mr. Solskjaer, happy birthday from Belgium as well.
Thank you.
You spoke about Crepin Diatta from your time in Molde. What is it that you liked about him? And he hopes to have a career like Sadio Mane, his big brother in the Senegal team. Is that possible?
It's. I think he should have high hopes and high ambitions with his career, because I saw him when he was 17, 18 back in Sarpsborg. He was actually at Molde before I came to Molde. Someone turned it down, I don't know who, but that was before I came there. And he was fantastic. He feels, when you see players with that quality, and he feels free on the pitch, he tries things, he's got the X factor, fantastic pace and balance. So he's similar to Sadio Mane, to be fair. So I think that's just a fair ambition that he should have.
Hi Luke. Obviously you've played alongside Brandon. Just talk us through what was that like for you. Obviously you're still young, but do you feel like one of the more senior players in the squad now? And is that something you could potentially thrive?
Yeah, I think so now.
You become a dad now, so that's
I have to. Yeah. No, of course. I think you just mentioned Brandon there. Of course, we play in the same position, but I think a few times we've managed to play together, and I've really enjoyed it. And of course, I know he's still very young, and sort of I've been in that situation that he has, and although we're in the same position and we both want to be playing, I'm one to help him and to keep pushing him to become a great player that he can be. Don't get me wrong, he's done brilliantly already, but like I said, he's still young and can only get better, and we'll keep pushing each other in training, because he's obviously pushed me more as well than I have been in the past, and I think that's only good for the boss next to me to sort of have that competition in and around the team, to push everyone to be at their best at all times, because if you're not, then you won't be playing.
Okay, last question.
Ollie, there's obviously a club like United, there's obviously always a lot of talk about finances, and there was an investors call with Ed yesterday. I just wondered, are you sort of conscious that not only in football terms a club like United needs to be in the Champions League every year, but does the sort of financial pressures of being in the Champions League also come into play?
Well, I think, as you said, we're a big club, we've got good finances, but of course the longer you're out of it, the more you'll suffer. So of course it's an ambition for us to get back into the Champions League, both for the footballing reasons, but also financially that'll help the club, of course. And as Luke says, we've just got to focus on the next game, this competition now, then it's a league on Sunday, then it's the FA Cup on Thursday, then it's a league again, and hopefully more European games.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Cheers.